all you degenerate gamers. Today is Thursday. Today was chest and arms day for me. I'm a little sore, but it's better than leg day. Let me tell you, nobody likes leg day. Nobody likes leg day. People will be like, oh my God, leg day is so awesome. No. Nobody likes leg day. Everybody likes the results of leg day, but they don't actually like leg day. Everybody hates leg day. Today I want to talk about the AI and Ironmouse drama. I will say I have a bit of a different take than I keep seeing all around Twitter and YouTube. I don't think people understand exactly how the VTuber artist dynamic works out. And a spoiler alert, artists kind of have VTubers by the balls, so to speak. They hold them hostage. Now, there's two things I want to actually talk about because, as I've said many times before, I listen to Asmongold while I'm at the gym, and I was listening to him talk about this morning, and I have things to say. His pro AI to a point of being insufferably obnoxious kind of ties into what I want to talk about with Ironmouse, but I'm going to separate it. I want to first talk about Asmongold, and then I'll get into the Ironmouse drama. I was listening to Asmongold, and if you don't know, he is very obnoxiously pro AI. I would say, as a radical centrist, I don't hate AI. I use AI. Everybody can see. I get shit on by the leftoids for having AI thumbnails. I also am not super anti-AI. I think there's one thing that Asmongold seems to miss because it doesn't affect him. Asmongold is super pro AI because he has some weird vendetta against artists who have ruined his video game characters. Now, the weird thing is, because I'm a radical centrist, I agree that they were going a little too far with the gaming characters. I mean, you can have hot girls. Quite frankly, I don't want to play an ugly girl either. I love hot girls in my video games. I love hot guys in my video game. I also don't care that much about playing somebody who looks like me or anything like that. I find it really, really strange, though, that he's so pro AI that he relishes the thought of artists losing their income. And I feel like for a guy who says he understands the common person, he doesn't seem to understand that the reason why these people are anti-AI is because they're going to lose their livelihoods. Now, he did say in yesterday's VOD that it's selfish that they are anti-AI because they want to preserve their jobs. This is coming from a guy who's never really had a job. And I know everybody goes, yes, he has. He worked at Costco for a week and he had a job at the IRS. Well, for anybody who actually has a job, you would know that being a seasonal employee for like 2 months at the IRS part-time as a contractor doesn't really count as having a job. There's having a job during your summers at school or summers off from school. And then there's, oh my God, it's another fucking Monday. I have to get up and go to a job that I hate and I don't have the choice. There's nothing I can do. I have to keep doing that over and over. I feel like Asmongold's super pro AI, let's force all the artists into homelessness is very vindictive simply for video games. His super pro AI stance is because it doesn't affect him. It's a guy who's making 8 figures a year and people still give this guy money and all he really cares about is his viewership and streaming, and that's it, right? Of course, like artists losing their job, losing their livelihood doesn't affect him, so he doesn't really care. He doesn't care at all. But here's the hypocrisy in it all, and I think this is common human nature, so I don't even hate on him for this, but I don't think he understands and I don't think he sees the difference. Asmongold suddenly wants his viewership to care about things that he cares about, right? And I have the perfect example. I'm sure you noticed back in the day, Asmongold he kind of talked a little bit about Twitch and he was angry at Twitch. But once he got banned for those, I think it was 2 weeks for something he said in his talk with Hasan, we've all heard it, we all know about it, right? He went hardcore vendetta anti-Twitch. Now, he will tell you, I don't want to get banned from Twitch. And the reason why he doesn't want to get banned from Twitch is evident in Tectone's stream. I went in Tectone's stream, a guy with over 1 million he has about a little under 1 million followers on Twitch. A guy who was pulling thousands and thousands of viewers is now pulling like 800 concurrent viewers on Rumble. I think it would not happen as bad as that to Asmongold, but Asmongold knows his pull and his dominance is on Twitch. He doesn't want to lose Twitch. But when he got banned from Twitch, he suddenly had this very hardcore vendetta. And as a matter of fact, I have 2 hot takes from that. One, he was the one that said, never apologize, never apologize. Don't you ever go on an apology tour. What did he do? He did the apology. My hot take is that Twitch said, hey, we're going to ban you for like a month or maybe longer. If you do an apology, we'll reduce it to 2 weeks or 1 week, whatever it was. And he was like, okay, sir, yes, sir. So he did the apology tour, right? 2, my hot take is that he won't debate because he got baited by Hasan to say the shit that he said. So I think he won't do debates because he doesn't want to be put in that situation again. He doesn't want to accidentally say something while he's streaming with Destiny or Hasan or whoever, right? Which I can't blame him for. I would feel the same exact way. If I can't keep my mouth shut when I'm talking to somebody and I get banned for it, then probably the best thing is not to debate those people anymore. So I'm not hating on them for that. But again, I want to point out that when he went on his hardcore anti-Twitch vendetta rage campaign, he suddenly wanted us to care about view botting and Twitch not enforcing their TOS evenly and fairly. And while I can understand why somebody would care about that if they were a Twitch streamer, as a viewer, I don't care. I don't care if Asmongold gets banned tomorrow, maybe I'll go visit him when he's streaming on YouTube or Kick or something. I'll just go to another platform. I don't really care if Asmongold gets kicked off of Twitch. But suddenly we were in this campaign, we're like, oh, Twitch bad, look at the view botters, oh my god, look at, they banned these people and they don't enforce their toss. I don't really care. As a viewer, I don't really care. So you want me to care about this stuff because it affects you, Asmongold. It affects him, and that's why he wants me to care. When really, I don't care. I don't care at all. As a matter of fact, I think Asmongold could get banned from Twitch tomorrow, and he will have some loss in retention. I do think he'll lose some viewers, but I think he'll do fine. One thing he wants more than anything is to stream, and he has to preserve those viewers. And if I'm being completely honest, I do think it makes him chuckle a little bit that the way he is, and he still beats Hasan when it comes to viewership on Twitch. Although I will say I saw some stats recently where I believe Hasan took him for the month of April, and Hasan's like 4 and Asmon is 5 now. But I mean, really, they're like neck and neck. In all honesty, they're like neck and neck. People watch Hasan or they watch Asmongold, depending on which team, blue team or red team, they're on. With that said, I think he doesn't truly understand or care. I think he might understand. Actually, he does understand, because he does understand these people are anti-AI because of their job. But he doesn't care. He wants them to lose their job, and he doesn't care if they lose their job because it doesn't affect him. These dumbasses were still, his viewership's still going to give him money. It doesn't matter to him. He still has more money than he knows what to do with. So it doesn't really affect him. Now, that brings me to the Ironmouse situation. The Ironmouse situation is a bit unique, and I find that I see people bitching back and forth, pro-AI, anti-AI, the liberals, the woke. Oh God, they're so, like, I immediately shut down when somebody says something like that. Stop it, you fucking boomers. You sound like morons. God dang. But anyway, here's the truth of the matter when it comes to a VTuber, especially a VTuber at Ironmouse's level. There's a very small circle of artists that handle VTuber art. If you're in the upper echelon, you want the upper echelon artists. And as with all things, when you get to the upper echelon, there's very few. They're very expensive, but there's very few, and you want the best of the best. These artists hold these VTubers hostage because the VTuber initially doesn't have the forethought to make sure they have copyright over their model, right? Usually the artist keeps copyright, at least in the beginning, and then even if they don't have copyright, their style and the way that they produce their model is very specific to the VTuber. Usually when you're a VTuber, you don't have any money. When you first start out, you don't have any money. You find an artist, you commission an artist, they give you the model, but they hold copyright of the model. And as time goes on, the VTuber gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and they keep commissioning the same artist. Well, if the VTuber goes and says anything pro AI, or they, in Ironmouse's case, play a game that, oh my God, has AI in it, which honestly, I don't really feel like it's a very big deal, but I understand where the artists are coming from. If they do this, the artist can stop working with the VTuber. Even if the VTuber has some kind of copyright of the model, the artist can say, oh, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna do any more commissions for you. If this happens, it causes a huge problem for the VTuber. So VTubers are stuck saying, oh yeah, I am anti-AI, yes, down with AI, down with AI. So it's not so much that Ironmouse is like, oh, she's wokey, oh my God, she's a liberal. It's that she needs her artist, and her artist is kind of in control here. Had she kept playing the game, it's possible that her artist wouldn't work for her anymore. And to illustrate how competitive it is at the top, I thought I would bring up the Nanoless Cinder Shylily kind of drama that happened. God, can't believe it's like what, 8 months ago? Oh no, it's a year ago. Oh my God, I can't believe it's a year ago already. My goodness. Anyway, if you don't know, a little background. Nanoless is a VTuber artist, and she did a Google Doc. She did a Google Doc exposing a VTuber named Cinder. Cinder's a really big VTuber out there, very, very big. So Nanoless worked with Cinder. Cinder is managed by this manager named Redacted. Now what happened was they were in Discord. Discord is always drama. Why do people go into Discord? I will never understand it. Discord is nothing but fucking drama. Although people keep reminding me that if I'm going to stream and talk, I need to actually get my ass into Discord, which by the way, on my Twitch page, I do have a Discord server that one of my mods was very kind enough to set up, and then I never go in it, and he gives me a hard time about it. So I apologize out there now. One of these days I'll go in. But the reason why I stay away from Discord is because there's always so much fucking drama around it. And I don't want to be in drama. I love talking about drama. I love laughing about the drama, but I don't want to be in the drama. I don't want to be the point of drama. So this Shylily leak, Google Doc expose, she includes a bunch of screenshots from Discord. Now, I won't go through, it's 15 pages. I won't go through. I'll just sum it up to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Cinder's manager, I guess, used to talk shit about some of these other big creators. Some of these other big creators also commission Nanoless. Now, Nanoless had an opportunity to make some big bank, but unfortunately, I don't think artists are the smartest people in the world. They might be creative and nice and fun to work with, but she had the opportunity to make bank. This Redacted, I'll just say Cinder's manager, said, hey, I want you to be exclusive to Cinder. And apparently he talked some shit about Shylily and Bao. These are both huge VTubers out there. Redacted tried to convince Nanoless to dump these other creators and work exclusively with Cinder. Now, you could, if you're business-minded, take this as a money-making opportunity, and what you would do is you would say, well, I'm making this much money with them, so if you want me to be exclusive, you have to pay me the money that I would lose by dumping them, right? I don't know if it would be a very smart idea, but she could do it. If that's what she wanted to do, you could do it. Redacted offered her like 4 commissions for the year to make up for what she would lose. I doubt that's enough to make up the money, and that's probably why Nanoless said no and expose them. Probably because if you're going to try to get somebody to be exclusive, you got to be willing to pay up a lot of money. Everybody has a price. That's the thing. Everybody has a price. As I'm scrolling through, I read this a year ago. As I'm scrolling through, I'm reminded of how Redacted is kind of talking shit and trying to get Nanoless to be exclusive, but the fact of the matter is that Nanoless does the art for all of these VTubers, and she really has all the power. She has all the power here. She could have said, hey, you're gonna have to pay me, I don't know, 6 figures. The problem is they're offering promises in the future. So if Nanoless was smart, she should have been like, okay, let's drop a contract and you give me 50% now and 50% when the year's up, or whatever it might be, and I'll be exclusive. The problem is she didn't want, the feelings came into play. Oh my God, you're talking badly about my friends. So, she didn't do it, and instead exposed, probably because Redacted really was only saying, I'll buy your art pieces, I'll give you more commissions. Really what he or she should have said was, hey, what kind of money are they giving you? I'll just give that to you cash, and you do our art exclusively. But instead he was trying to, I don't know if bully is the right word. In business, it's not really bullying. It's more like convincing, trying to convince. And had she done it, she would have dropped these other 2 big creators. Now, had she dropped these other 2 big creators, they would have been extremely upset. And let me tell you something, in this upper echelon of VTubing world, it's a lot of money. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna lose $1,000. These artists are charging like $8, $10, sometimes $15,000 for a model and a rig. And once you find a model or an artist that's really good, you keep them around because every artist has a certain style. If you like that style and you want to update your model with that same style, you got to get the same artist. Well, not only are you paying up the ass for this particular artist, but they make you wait months. I said in another video that I had one artist, I was looking at her work, it was gorgeous, but she wanted $8,000 for the model and you had to give her 8 months of wait time. And I'm like, what? And some of these artists aren't even taking more commissions. Some of them say, I'm booked for the year, and that's it. These artists are making bank. They don't need us lowly broke VTubers. They have all of these big high-end VTubers, but there's very few artists out there who are like that. So all of these big VTubers want those really good, expensive artists. If the artist decides, I'm not going to work with you because you played this AI game, the VTuber is kind of fucked, especially if they have kind of intermingled their VTubing success with this specific artist. So there's a bit of like a control from the artist on the VTuber. And the moral of my story is Ironmouse stopped playing that game and rejected all AI and said, no, I hate AI, I hate AI. Not because she herself is anti-AI, but because I guarantee you the artists that she works with would have dumped her if she didn't stop working with AI. That is the problem for VTubers. It's not about them being anti-AI. It's that they would have a very hard time finding artists who would work with them if they didn't renounce all AI and just say AI bad, AI bad. So I think this brings a little different perspective to it. Rather than this, oh, you're a liberal, you're a woke VTuber, oh my god, the VTuber. It's not really the VTuber, it's the artist. And I can't say I blame them. And as a VTuber myself, I did commission an artist and I really appreciated her work. I didn't have $8,000 to spend, but I did appreciate the work of my artist. I think in the future, anybody who is considering VTubing or wants to work with VTubing, you need to have copyright of the brain. You need to think, is this person going to give me copyright? Does this seem like the type of person that won't work with me anymore if I play an AI game, a game with AI? And there are plenty of artists out there, especially new and upcoming artists, that don't give a shit. They're just like, man, I'm just trying to pay my bills. I'm just trying to find some work. I do not care. You want to play an AI game? I don't care. Just pay me when you commission something for me. That's all they really care about. And those are some good artists, and I'm sure that there are artists out there that really don't care either. But I think it's also important to remember, if you're in Asmongold's shoes and it doesn't fucking affect you, please stop saying like, I can't wait till AI takes over your job so you can't pay your bills. Shut the fuck up, for real. That's a shitty take, and I think you need to be a little more understanding. You can be like pro AI, as in it helps me out, I use it. I do think trying to fight the AI battle is a losing battle. I've quit trying to fight it myself. There's always everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Don't be a wing cuck. You don't have to be an extremist. You don't have to wish that people can't pay their bills or can't feed their families, while understanding that, okay, maybe they're anti-AI because they don't want to lose their jobs, and it's not even about that. It's that they can't feed their families, and maybe you should just kind of say, hey, I'm pro-AI, and I at least know where you're coming from. I completely understand where you're coming from. But again, we're talking about multi-million-dollar streamers who don't give a fuck about anybody but themselves and their viewer count. That's all these people care about. And anyway, that is my rant for the day. I hope I brought a little bit of perspective on the VTuber versus AI, pro-AI, anti-AI thing, rather than listening to a bunch of people that are just weirdly too far into extremist pro-anti. And I think that's it for today, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys!